I'll call this Waco ISD Board of Trustees meeting to order. Do we have any public comments tonight? No, thank you. All right, at this time, the board will go into closed session under Texas Government Code, subchapter 551.071 and 551.074, consultation with attorney and personnel, and we will reconvene in open session as soon as possible. Thank you. The board will resume in open session. We have been in closed session where no action was taken. Before we begin with our special recognitions tonight, and I ask all for a moment of silence, I want to recognize two losses that the district has experienced in the recent last couple of weeks. One is the loss of Alex Williams, who served as board president and was a member of this board for many years. I served alongside Mr. Williams. He died, I think about 10 days, maybe 2 weeks ago. And I want to recognize Mr. Williams and ask you tonight to keep his family in your prayers. He was a man of many talents and many interests, sometimes surprising, and what his experiences had been in his life. He loved people. He loved being out in his community. He loved riding his bike around the neighborhood, which I related to, and served his community very honorably. He will be missed. Second is the tragic loss of Dravion Booker, University High School student, to a senseless act of violence this past weekend. The magnitude of the tragedy is overwhelming, and the immensity of the loss has been felt throughout our school community. I've been told that Dravion's friends called him Bean. Yeah, Bean. And you just know that a young man whose friends called him Bean was fun to be around. We've been told that he is someone that lifted up those around him. He was a joy to be around. He was on the Trojan basketball team. And the loss is really insurmountable and difficult to understand. And so tonight, as I ask you to bow your head for a moment, I would like you to think of his family and his friends and the University High community. So at this time, if you'll join me in a moment of silence, prayer, or meditation. Thank you. All right, Pledge of Allegiance. I know we have some special guests tonight to help us and lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Alice, will you introduce our pledge leaders?
Yes, thank you so much. Today we have with us from Atlas Academy in Tennyson Middle School, Ariana Kane Pass and Camariana Pass. They're sisters. Ariana is a sixth grader who loves social studies, making bracelets and candles. And Camariana is in seventh grade, and she and her sister actually have a candle making business, so they are entrepreneurs. And Cariana loves math and volleyball and track. Thank y'all so much for being here. And we would like to thank their mother, Crystal Ward, for sharing her wonderful daughters with us tonight. And we really appreciate you guys coming out and saying the pledge for us. Thank you.
Ms. Ward, will you stand so we can recognize you? Thank you. Yeah, your photo bump. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President and trustees. We're going to begin our recognitions tonight by recognizing our National Merit Commended Scholars. National Merit Awards has recognized 4 Waco High students during the 2022 National Merit Scholarship Program as commended scholars for performance on the 2020 National Merit Scholar Qualifying Test. With a selection index of 207 or above, these high performers have shown outstanding academic potential, and the following students are among the 50,000 highest scoring participants who will be recognized this year. Zane G. Arterburn, Lily Kaufman, Xander Lim, and Abigail Zimmerman. And in addition to this incredible accomplishment, we are so delighted to announce that Ms. Abigail Zimmerman was also recognized as a National Recognition Scholar, Hispanic Recognition Scholar for 2022 award cycle. Congratulations.
Woo. Shake your hands. This is an exceptional accomplishment and quite an honor. You make us proud.
Our next recognition goes to Texas for...
You know what? Before you move on, can we recognize their parents?
Yes, please. The parents, please stand up.
I know the Zimmermans are here.
Definitely takes great parental guidance to have students have such great achievements, so thank you.
Thank you. And I want to just say it takes some studying, too. So kudos to you, girls, for studying so hard to improve your scores and achieve this accomplishment. It's a tremendous accomplishment. And you can write your ticket just about anywhere you want to go. So congratulations. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next recognition goes to Texas 4-H Senior Grand Champion Shavante Shea Hobbs. Texas 4-H is part of Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service and Texas A&M System. It's the largest youth development program in Texas, reaching more than 550,000 students each year. So students can choose a project, a yearly project in the areas such as healthy living, fashion, citizenship, community service, career preparation, and rocketry. This hands-on experience enables them to learn not only dedication, but new skills as well. And Ms. Cobbs baked a homemade $1 million pound cake in February at Waco High, and her hard work was paid off as she was crowned Senior Grand Champion for Baked Goods Cake Division. The cake was purchased at a silent auction held at Extraco Event Center for the sale of champions, and she will receive the money along with individual donations, and her funds will go towards college expenses. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And last but not least, we're going to recognize our outstanding community partners. Each month, Waco ISD recognizes a community partner making a difference for students in Waco ISD. The recognition celebrates them for the 2021-2022 school year. The We Are Waco ISD theme acknowledges that it's not just our employees and students who make Waco ISD community a great place to teach and learn, but it's also our community partners. In February, the district is recognizing Community Bank and Trust. They have a long-standing relationship with Waco High School and the district. So literacy is very close to Community Bank and Trust CEO David Lacey's heart, and he's very passionate about student success. This school year, Community Bank and Trust has made it possible with donations for the Reading Plus incentives to be given to students every 6 weeks. They're able to host a pizza party. They've also donated funds towards incentives for staff, and they do also participate in Campus Decision-Making Council and Lead Mentoring Program. Here to receive the award for the Community Bank and Trust are Lisa Hull, Vice President and Trust Officer, and Paige Beasley, Banking Officer and Marketing Department. Thank you so much for supporting Waco ISD. We appreciate your dedication to our students and staff.
All right, I think that's it for special recognition. Superintendent's report.
All right, well, good evening, everyone. Want to start by talking about Black History Month activities. Each February, we celebrate the stories and voices of African Americans, past and present. We do this by providing engaging experiences that connect our students to the political, economic, social, and cultural impact of African Americans. So tonight, I'm happy to highlight some of the unique ways our campuses have celebrated Black History Month. Waco High School's Black History program, I think that was the first slide, always dazzles with the use of music, song, dance, and speech. This year's program was called Hip Hop History is Black History. We also recorded the program to share it with students in the community who were not able to attend in person. Crestview Elementary celebrated by hosting a Black History Month drive-through. The celebration included displays, music, and food that families could enjoy during their regular dismissal. One of our deaf education classes at Lake Air Montessori Magnet hit the books to research the stories and contributions of deaf African Americans. West Avenue Elementary held many different activities, including a twinning day where teachers and students teamed up to wear clothing depicting Black History Month themes. The students also participated in door decorating activities and created a bulletin board of important figures in Black history. At Parkdale Elementary, students and staff put their creativity to work in a bulletin board decorating contest highlighting inspiring African Americans. The kindergarten team won for their display about Amanda Gorman, the youngest inaugural poet in United States history. As we reflect on Black History Month, it seems fitting to end with a couple of lines from one of Amanda Gorman's poems. She wrote, "Being American is more than a pride we inherit. It's the past we step into and how we repair it." Not just through our Black History Month celebrations and activities, but through all of our curriculum, that's our vision. We want to give our students an understanding of the past that they're stepping into that empowers them to create a better future for all. And that's our vision. So I want to call on Mr. Davis to talk about his shirt this evening.
Okay, yes. So if you can't see, I have a shirt just paying homage to the African American Waco ISD trustees that came before me. Reverend Robert Gilbert was the first African American elected to the Waco ISD Board of Trustees in 1979, along with Dr. Emma Louise Harrison, who was the first African American female on the board, followed by Reverend John L. Mashak, Mr. Billy Barrett, Coquie Gibson, Sammy Smith, Alex Williams, Norman Manning, Jeremy Davis, and Keith Guillory. So we just want to pay homage to those who came before us to trailblaze and make the path for us.
Thank you. Very awesome. And good job. When I saw your shirt, I thought how hard that would be to find all of those names in board minutes. So you've done a lot of work there. Thank you for that. Okay, the next item I have is to let you all know about the ribbon cutting for the new Paul Tyson Stadium. And so we are at the finish line of that project, and we're very excited to cut a ribbon on Friday, March the 4th at 9:00 a.m. And I do believe we have a special guest attending. Our Olympian, Will London, who is a graduate of Waco High School, will be in attendance for that special event. We're really excited about that. So we hope you all can come and be introduced to our community as we cut the ribbon and participate. All right. The last item that I have this evening is just to share some data with you, and this is on student attendance. And it's also in consent agenda. You'll find the report. This is attendance from January the 4th through February the 17th. And these are important dates, particularly as they cover the surge of the Omicron variant, which occurred mostly in January. So you can see the dramatic fluctuations that we had in student attendance during that grading period. At the lowest point, our attendance as a district average fell to 77.78%. And you can see, however, since then that has been climbing. We're still below our pre-pandemic rates, but you can see that we've gotten as high as 90%, which is really good. We've been really struggling with attendance this year, so hitting 90% was a milestone for us. And that's really good, but the overall average of this grading period is actually only about 85%. And that's about 10% lower than what we would have seen pre-pandemic for the same time during the school year. And so there are two concerns with that. One, most importantly, our students are losing instruction. And then second, there's a significant impact on school funding when kids aren't in school. So I wanted the board to know this evening that we're working on revised revenue projections based on our actual attendance for this year, for year to date, and we will be presenting those to you at upcoming board meetings. And I really wanted to put that on your radar because there are some potential financial implications of that loss in attendance. We've been told that the state may be providing us with some help to offset the low attendance rate due to COVID-19, but to date, we still don't have anything definitive from the state. And if the state fails to act and to assist school districts, then we would be looking at a loss in the millions for lost attendance funding. We're not alone. This is a challenge for school districts across the state, and that's what gives me hope that TEA will adjust those funding formulas and help us with the realities of this pandemic. So wanted to put that on your radar, wanted to give you a glimpse into this particular grading period with Omicron. And this is actually a report that we can pull out of 5 Lab, which is Forecast 5 Lab. It's a program that we can pull pretty much any kind of data out of our student management system at any time. And so appreciate Jerry pulling this for me. It's a great program that our administrators have access to, and we regularly look at reports pulled from this particular program. So be happy to answer any questions about that. All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, before we get to the exciting business in the consent agenda, unless I have an objection, I'd like to move item 13, which is regarding the extension of the superintendent's contract up. And then after item 13, item 11, regarding masks. And then we will resume the agenda as posted with consent. Well, yes, we love having guests, but students, you're welcome to leave whenever you want to leave. But you know, I don't know, you might miss something if you leave. It's pretty exciting. But you know, you can always watch it online or on TV. Yeah. It is a school day tomorrow. That will be regular time.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, item 13, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action regarding the extension of the superintendent's contract and the 2022 performance goals. So at the board's last meeting on February, well, gosh, I'm terrible, February 14th, the board met with Dr. Kincannon regarding her evaluation and the 2021 performance goals. And so tonight, as the calendar moves through in its process, the next thing to do is to consider an extension of the superintendent's contract. The superintendent has a 3-year contract. The salary component of the superintendent's contract is considered at a later date, along with the board's development of the budget for the 2022-2023 school year. So tonight, the only item on the agenda is consideration of the superintendent's contract and the 2022 performance goals that we have been working with together with Dr. Kincannon. So at this time, I will entertain a motion.
Madam President, I move approval of the superintendent's 2022 performance goals and that paragraph 1.1 of the superintendent's contract be amended to extend the ending date of employment under the contract to June 30th, 2025.
Thank you, Mr. Guillory. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Cordaway. Is there any further discussion or question? All right. All those in favor of the motion as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
We are very grateful to you, to your team, and to leading us through historic times. You know, it just seems like things keep coming at us, right? Just when we think we've gotten through one, once in a lifetime, it's another, and then another, and another. And we're very grateful for your tireless devotion and dedication to this district and your determination to make us all better. So with that, I think, as Mr. Guillory said in his motion, the contract renews for another 3-year term to 2025.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, next, I thought not to make design for Carver any less important, but I thought that folks who might be tuning in here at the top of the meeting might be interested in the resolution to discontinue masks. And so I thought we'd go ahead and discuss that here as well. Dr. Kincannon.
Okay, tonight I am asking the board to consider approving a resolution rescinding 2 of your previous actions. In September, the board adopted a resolution affirming a requirement for everyone to wear a mask in shared spaces inside our facilities. As you recall, during the first week of the school year, we had 104 people who reported testing positive for COVID-19. At that time, we heard from local healthcare professionals that the situation in our hospitals was growing increasingly dire. In response, I opted to require masks in our facilities and subsequently asked the board to adopt the resolution affirming that requirement. Now, we find ourselves in a very different place. Cases have been declining for over a month now and have remained consistently low for the past 3 weeks. 2 weeks ago, we had 11 cases reported. Last week, there were 7 cases reported, and through yesterday, there was just 1 case reported this week. At the same time, a vaccine is now available for students between the ages of 5 and 11 years old, and more people of all ages in our community are vaccinated. and the situation in our hospitals is less dire. With all of this in mind, I'm recommending that we make masks optional in our facilities starting after spring break. The resolution being considered tonight would end the requirement for masks in our buildings as of 5 p.m. next Friday, March 4th. While masks would no longer be required, they would still be strongly encouraged, especially in indoor spaces where social distancing is not possible. In fact, at the suggestion of one of our employees, we created these buttons, and we've distributed them to each of our campuses, and there's one for each of you at your places. The resolution being considered tonight would also rescind the emergency authority that this board has delegated to me at the start of the pandemic. I haven't used that resolution or that authority in over a year, and I don't anticipate that I would need to do so in the future. So I appreciate your consideration of the resolution, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
All right, anybody have any questions or? Yes, Ms. Cordway.
Okay, Dr. Kincannon, I know that right off of the tail end of Delta, no one expected Omicron, and that there was kind of the curveball kind of thrown. We had been, I know that specifically the administration was looking to potentially even rescind mask mandates then, but then Omicron kind of basically changed those plans. Is there, Lord forbid, that there's some other wave? What kind of considerations do you take into effect? I know we're in very consistent communication with the health district and other local health authorities in our community specifically. Just what considerations kind of would cause?
Sure. We've been through a lot over the last couple of years, and we've looked at a lot of different factors in making decisions. Number of positive cases in our schools. We've looked at attendance rates, and things have evolved over time, and things are improving, and so there's not a hard and fast rule about when or if we would even put masks back on. I think things are certainly different now. We have vaccinations are in place, and it feels like we're coming out of this pandemic. So, I think the board has the option to put masks back on as the conditions change, and I think everything has been evolving, and so we can't anticipate like we didn't. I certainly didn't anticipate the huge surge that we had coming back in January, and how that might impact us. So I think it's pretty situational, and we would look at all the conditions at the time and make decisions. And this is the board's resolution, and this rescinds my authority to make that decision, and so you all would be asked to make it in the future.
Mr. Davis?
I just want to encourage everybody, like I did the first time, realize that you have the power to mandate masks for your own family. So just please be cautious. I definitely agree that it's time to put the pandemic behind us, but just still be cautious as we go and celebrate spring break and travel with families. Just be cautious coming back to school, and know that you can still wear your mask. That's still an option.
Well, I want to, sorry, are you entertaining a motion?
Yes. Yes, I thought that's what you were.
Yes, I was going to do that, but I didn't know if we were moving there. So I move that we approve the resolution rescinding prior resolutions, basically the emergency delegation resolution and mask resolution.
All right, thank you, Ms. Cordway. A second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Guillory. Any other questions or discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Passes unanimously. All right, consent. All right, there have been a few, we're going to pull a few things off consent. First of all, 8N, we're not ready to move forward with that tonight, so that is not on the agenda regarding the District of Innovation Plan. And we're going to pull items 8A regarding budget amendments. We just have a few questions there. And, yep. That one, 8A was? Yeah, 8A. It would just be 8F and 8J. Okay, 8F then, and 8J. So we're going to consider, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented with the exceptions of item 8F, 8J, and 8N.
So move.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Corwig, second by Mr. Davis. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Hearing no one opposed, passes unanimously. All right. Ms. Davis, I hear you're under the weather, and if there'd be any day that you could stay home under the weather, this is it, but you're here. I was going to look for you on Zoom, and we just have a question or two about the purchases in excess of $50,000.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. I'm so sorry. Just a couple of questions. I would like to say also, I do appreciate how you have kept us, the finances in this district have always been doing well under your leadership. And so I know you have had to pivot off of COVID and all of that, but I appreciate all of your work, so. I was just, the one that I had a question on, purchases of excess 50,000. There was HVAC replacement package for Waco High. Guama, Brazos, some of those were in there. But I was wondering, is that HVAC going to be able to be reused? Is that just kind of replacing it and then we're going to get a new one, or?
Well, actually, that's probably a better question for Gloria Bonetto, but yes, what I had heard from Alex when we first started this was they did intend to remove those units from any of the buildings and at the time, Carver was one of those buildings actually that we talked about, but they intended to remove the units that they could salvage and use them elsewhere.
Okay, perfect. And then the other questions that I have are off of, so that takes care of A. Sorry, the next one I had was J. Scrolling to the page. So I noticed on functional expenditures, page 63, food services, it talked about expenditures that have increased 1.3 over the last year. And it says increases due to purchase of food, non-food supplies, and a large number of vacancies in the workforce. I was just wondering.
Well, yes, the increases are probably due to food and food supplies, and we have purchased a lot of equipment. We had some rollover of equipment.
Okay.
That's being offset partially by vacancies that we have in food service. We're having a very difficult time filling positions, and so part of the expenditures that we have are being offset by those vacancies.
Being offset by vacancies. Okay, great. And then the functional expenditures kind of below that under the debt service fund. I was just wondering on there, I know we're doing payments to the TIF. I was just wondering, had a question, when does that end?
Actually, there's 3 TIFs.
Mm-hmm.
One of them just ended.
Okay.
But that's not the large one. One of the small ones just ended. I think the other one ends at the end of this tax year, which would be the end of 2022.
Okay. Yeah, I had a feeling that it was ending soon, or I remembered vaguely something about it ending soon, and I just wasn't sure if it.
And in the general fund, we've been held harmless for those properties in the TIF because the state actually holds us harmless for that, but it does negatively impact our tax rate in the debt service fund.
Okay. And then the, again, right under that, the insured group health insurance, I was just, what are your, I noticed that we did expenditures exceeding revenues by 583, almost 84,000. Just wondering what was, and then I read down and it was 15,000 estimates over the prior year. Just kind of, what's the pulse on this insurance and?
Well, and it's, as you can see up in the little table, we've already exceeded it by about $304,000 this year. part of what happened 2 years ago, we actually were way in the black because nobody was going to the doctor because of COVID. And all discretionary treatments and everything were postponed. So what we think happened this past year, and is sort of continuing a little bit into this year, is people are catching up. I do know that when I looked at the numbers for this past month, they have gone down quite a bit. So I'm hoping, we kind of turned around a little bit, so I'm hoping that will continue. Of course, our summer months are going to be our biggest use months because people get their discretionary treatments during the summer months a lot.
Yeah, they take their kids to the doctor, do all of that, yeah.
And while we did do a rate increase for health insurance, that doesn't come into effect till January 1st. So the first 4 months of this fiscal year were under the old rate. And so the new rate doesn't kick in until January 1st. So from the last 8 months, we'll be at a higher rate.
Okay, yeah, I was noticing that, and I thought, well, just wondering, it was filling up.
And health insurance is always, scary.
It's very scary, yeah, just making sure that we had what we needed to cover our employees.
The fund is in good shape. I mean, it does have a very healthy fund balance, so
Okay,
we can sustain that a little while.
okay, great, those were my 2 questions.
All right, well, I'll entertain the motion then to approve items 8F and 8J.
Yeah, so I move that we approve items 8F and 8J presented.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Corwin. Thank you, Mr. Davis, for that second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, passes unanimous. All right, thank you, Ms. Davis. All right, I understand that our investment advisors are by Zoom, maybe? Dusty? Trailer, RBC Capital Markets regarding our bond sales.
Good
There he
evening.
is. Hello there.
How are y'all?
Very good.
Very good. Well, good to be with you guys this evening. We're just real quickly, before we get going on the presentation, I want to make sure I make appropriate introductions. We're also joined by Dan Roseveare this evening. Dan is a managing director with Oppenheimer. They were the firm that was the senior manager on the sale of the district Series 22 bonds. So they're the firms that was ultimately responsible for actually going out into the market, finding the investors, and actually selling the bonds. So Dan is on here this evening with us as well. So our report this evening is just to give the district a quick update on the sale of the bonds. That took place last week, and we had a very favorable result. I believe that you have our presentation materials with you there on the screen for the meeting. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm, yes. Oh, well,
very good.
isn't this his presentation here?
Very good. Well, I will start.
We have it in paper, so as he's working on getting it on the screen, we can follow along on the paper copy. There it is.
Okay. Very good.
Oh, it's
I am
different.
now-
Oh, okay.
It changed this afternoon. Same information, just put together differently.
Okay. I am now on what was
Cheryl shortened it.
slide. Hey, and I don't blame her. I don't blame her a bit. Well, before I get into the details on the sale, what I would like to include in our report is just this. Since the district's successful sale or successful election in November, I think I reported this back a couple of weeks ago when I was there. We've been working very, very closely with your team, Ms. Davis, Dr. Kincannon, and their teams towards preparing to sell these bonds. We worked closely to prepare a preliminary official statement. That is the offering document that is used to sell these bonds in a securities offering across the country. We also worked closely to participate in, Dr. Kincannon and Ms. Davis prepared for and participated in rating agency conference calls with both Moody's and Standard & Poor's. Those are two of the three major bond rating agencies in the country. In the district's bond rating as a result of those meetings, Moody's and Standard & Poor's affirmed the district's outstanding bond rating. The district's underlying bond rating from Moody's is AA2, and from S&P it's AA-. That, in conjunction with the access to the state of Texas permanent school fund guarantee, the permanent school fund guarantee affords the district a AAA rating, help us to have the opportunity to have a very successful bond sale. And if you're able to move to the second slide, or it's slide number 2 of the presentation deck that we sent over, we provide just a quick summary of the transaction. What you ought to see on the left side of the page is just various data that talks about the par amount of bonds sold. And on the right side, you should see a screen grab of the cover page of that preliminary official statement that was prepared for the offering. Is that where you are in the presentation materials?
Well, we're trying to, we can't really see that. It's too small. Okay, page 10. We're looking for the same thing in our packet, so page 10.
Oh, you're there. You're there on the, yeah, I see you there on the screen.
This is the final official statement?
I think,
cover-
Dusty, I think if you just talk to us about the work, we can,
The sale?
yeah, we got it. We can find it.
Wonderful. We'll do that. We'll do that. Well, as I said earlier, we were out in the market
That's better. Thank
last
you.
week on February the 17th to sell the bonds. And we ended up with an interest rate. If we look at just what's called the arbitrage yield, we ended up with an interest rate fixed on the bonds of 2.759. And then if we look at the all-in interest rate, all-in TIC, taking all costs, call feature, et cetera, into the fixed rate interest on the bonds, that works out to an all-in percentage of 3.044%. The actual stated par value of this issue is actually $189,500,000. But we will be actually depositing $200 million into the district's bank account at the time that we close. So the investors on the bonds, and Mr. Rosevier may be able to speak to this a little bit later as we get to his portion of the presentation. The investors on the bonds ended up paying a premium totaling $12,202,000. So that is why we're able to deposit $200 million to the district's project account while having only principal amount or stated par value of bonds sold of $189,500,000. So following this transaction, the district will still have $155 million worth of bonds left to be sold from this authorization. We anticipate coming back to the district to sell a portion of those in the summer, and then the remainder coming back in 2023 to sell the remaining authorization. Again, I stated that we discussed, had a great couple of conversations that Dr. Kincannon and Mr. Davis led with Moody's and Standard & Poor's. They affirmed the bond ratings at the AA2 and the AA- level. The things that the rating agencies noted in terms of credit strengths for Waco ISD are just our stable and growing diversified tax base and economy. The district, they also noted the district's historically strong financial position, and then also noted your good financial policies and practices. So those things were taken into consideration in the rating. Things that they want us to look about that are credit challenges for the district, and I think that we're all very aware of this, is just we've got the trend of declining enrollment, and they want us to, that's something to keep our eye on. And so even the rating agencies are looking at that. But again, all in all, had a very, very great sale. I think we caught a great day in the market. I was actually on a call on another transaction this week, and another participant on the call that I was on for a different district this week actually noted what a great sale and a great sale result the Waco ISD bonds got last week in the face of, we hear the talk out there about inflation and the Fed coming in and raising rates, but we really, really had a great opportunity to find a good day in the market. With that, that really concludes the basics of my presentation. Might turn it over to Dan Roseveare with Oppenheimer to discuss the actual orders and the order flow that came in from the underwriters.
Dusty, before you go, remind everybody, our estimates were built on 5%. Is that right?
Actually, our estimates for the tax rate impact was based on 5% tax base growth. We actually built our interest
it
rate
was built on 3.6. Okay, sorry. Thank you for clarifying that for me. I had.
About 3.6, 3.7%.
Okay, so you'd built your projections on 3.6, and we're coming in a little over 3. So that will have that's really good.
That helps us. That's correct.
Yeah, it'll help so the estimated impact to our tax rate is going to end up being
Well, we don't,
maybe a penny or two
we
less.
won't
maybe?
know, we won't know
Well,
until
no, we don't.
yeah. Go ahead,
We
Dusty.
won't know
you're the
that at this. We won't know that at this time until we get our certified values back.
Oh,
from the
sure,
appraisal
in this
district
summer. Okay.
later this summer. We've got to factor that into account as well.
At least we know it's not going to be more. It's not going to be more than what we told the voters at the time of the bond. Yeah, it will be less, hopefully. Yeah, okay. All right,
But all in all, a very, very great sale.
okay. And if, Jerry, if there's any way you could make the person speaking the large, because we can't really see anything on the screen. It's, yeah. Unless, yeah. But yeah, that's helpful if we could see the person speaking. Yeah, okay.
Am I up, Dusty?
You're up.
You're up, Dan.
Okay. Well, Madam President, members of the board, and we just want to, as Dusty said before, there's a lengthy process with your staff leading up to actually the actual sale, and a lot of things have happened in the market from the time your election was authorized all the way to now, and it actually was a really great thing that we were able to even, your staff was working with us as well as Dusty and the whole syndicate to move things a little bit quicker so we could try and take advantage of some rates. And it worked out really well. And it's overall, our job is to basically take the preliminary official statement that Dusty and his team helps prepare and take all the heavy lifting of the rating that you guys have, the great underlying credit rating you guys have, and go out in the market with the rest of the syndicate group, which includes Baird, BOK, Estrada Hinojosa, and Raymond James. Those firms, in addition to us, Oppenheimer, came up with a syndicate, and we go out and we market those bonds on your behalf to try and get as low as interest rate as possible. And as Dusty said, that we entered the market last Thursday, and we had a lot of discussions, a lot of meetings, collectively working a couple days into the sale, just fine tuning things, tweaking the structure so it would optimize and lower the interest rate. If you turn to page, I don't know if you can see on page 6, there's kind of a graphic example of all the orders that came in, and keep in mind that it's kind of like demand and supply and demand. You have a supply of 189 million basically in bonds, and you want to get as many bond orders as you can around your bond issue so that we can drive down those interest rates. And that's what happened, and everyone did a fantastic job. Dusty and his desk did a great job of communicating with us and making sure all along the way we were we were hitting all the objectives that you wanted to hit. If you look at, I don't know if you can see on page 7 where it says pricing day order flow. Can you all see that?
Our page numbers don't match yours.
Okay.
Yeah, and the
At the very-
graphics aren't the same, so.
Okay.
So you're probably just going to have to summarize it very succinctly
I'll
for
do
us,
that.
since
So-
we really, yeah.
So the idea is we go and pre-market and enter the market with some recommended interest rates. And then based on the number of bond orders that we receive back on your behalf, then those interest rates, based on that demand, can actually be reduced later on once we finalize the order period. And in conjunction with the oversight of your financial advisor, RBC and Dusty and the rest of his team, that's what happened. And ultimately, what we're able to do is, because of the high volume of bond orders that were in place and the demand for your particular piece of paper, your tax-exempt bonds, we were able to reduce interest rates in an amount which created savings of over $1.9 million for your district. And just, the difference between where we went out early in the day and where we ended up in the day. And we were very excited about that and just thrilled. As you can see, it is a group effort. There's a lot of stuff that goes on that you see and a lot of stuff you don't see. But the whole syndicate, as a general rule, like I said before, us, Bear, BOK, Strata, and Raymond James all collectively put our efforts together on your behalf, with Dusty watching over, and then we were able to generate a lot of orders. And ultimately, we ended up with bond orders almost $1.4 billion for your par amount of 189. And so we had all that extra demand, which allowed us to lower those interest rates and save you the $1.9 million. But everyone did a great job. They all showed up for what they were supposed to. That's what you want out of your syndicate team, that everyone pulls their fair share. And it was a great showing. I just want to thank you guys and the entire team, Dr. Kincannon, Ms. Davis, and Dusty for working with us and giving us all the information we needed to optimally end up with a result that hopefully meets all your objectives. So thank you for the opportunity to represent you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Davis, for your work. And it's exciting that we're going to be able to get more bang for our buck and that we save some money in the meantime. 1.9, I heard.
Yes, and I think we actually, our rates came in better than another larger school district that sold a couple of days before us. Is that correct?
Yes, as a matter of fact, Northside Independent School District sold about a little over $100 million on Tuesday prior to the Thursday sale. And while you guys have a great, very strong underlying credit rating, their credit rating just like one notch above yours. And it was exciting to see that the demand for your school district's bonds and the structure that was implemented with Dusty and his helped us generate enough demand that we actually were able to sell rates as a spread. That's how we call how it's going to benchmark to an index, which ultimately led us to a lower interest rate for a school district that had a one notch higher interest rating than you guys did. Is that about up, Dusty?
That was something that we were all, that was something that we were all very, very aware of last week and working to try to drive that interest cost down, aware of that other district out there. So we think that is very, very positive result.
All right.
Very indicative of the good work of the team and the good work that you guys are doing there at the district.
All right, thank you. Yes, Ms. Cordaway.
Dusty, thank you so much for this, and I really do appreciate all the work that you guys have done to get that great interest rate. And the question that I had with the market volatility, kind of projected inflation, do we think we're going to be able to kind of create the same buzz? What you know, I know that you were saying that we're going to sell another portion in the summer. I mean, I know you're not a psychic, but was wondering, is this something that you think can be replicated, or?
Well, there are so many things that are going on in the world right now, geopolitically. We all saw it today, right? We saw the Russia invasion of the Ukraine early this morning. That plays a role in our interest rates, which is very interesting. Something that happens halfway around the world impacts the borrowing costs of Waco ISD. And so, we've got on one hand, inflationary pressures out there in the world that are potentially moving interest rates up. But then we also have these other events that are going on in the world, some geopolitical instability that tends to move investors towards high credit and safe investments, like a Waco ISD bond, that can help also drive down interest rates. So all that being said is, I don't necessarily have a crystal ball, but I do know that we've got a little bit of cushion based on where we sold these bonds and whatnot. So I think that we're going to be fine. And if we find ourselves, in a situation where rates are starting to really, really move up dramatically, then we maybe come back and accelerate a sale on some of the others. But we've got to do that in conjunction with balancing out the tax rate impact. And part of that had to do with the eye towards selling these bonds over the course of 2 years to allow for tax base to grow with us as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Right, this item doesn't need any board action, right? It's just a report. Okay. All right, thank you. Before I let you go, will you tell me what that is behind you on the wall?
Are you talking to me?
I'm talking to you, Dusty. What is that thing over your shoulder? Is it a piece of wood?
There's some piece of art behind me.
Okay,
Listen, it came from World Market. It's not anything.
okay. All right, thanks. Well, I've been sitting here trying to, not that I haven't been wrapped by your presentation, but I have been curious about what that was. All right, thank you. Y'all be safe and warm tonight. Thanks for all your hard work.
Great to visit with you all this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, good night.
All right, good night.
All right, now we have some money, Mr. Sturzinger. Yay. So if you would, present the design development, interior and exterior material selection and colors for GW Carver Middle School. Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
And
I'm sorry, I did not mean to overlook you.
that's fine, Dr. Kincannon. So the design development step is a very important one in this process, and this is actually in our contractual agreement with O'Connell Robertson that we bring this to the Board of Trustees for your approval. This gives them acknowledgement that the program and that the documents they have developed meet our needs and that they're within the allowable budget. So both of those, we are here to tell you tonight that they meet our needs and it's within the allowable budget. And now Jared and his wonderful team will tell you all about it.
Good evening. Thank you for having us here, and we're excited we have money to build the project now. So as we talk here tonight, design development in the architectural process is really kind of the second step into the design phase. So it's about 2/3 of the way through the process. So if you remember, schematic design was about getting the right parts and the right pieces, getting an image of the building. Design development is really kind of looking inside the classrooms, inside the spaces, really start working on the details from an architectural standpoint and as well as an engineering system. CDs are next, which are the blueprints. And so we've seen a little bit of that here with GMP approval. So tonight, we are doing the design development update. Overall, in the progress of the project, we have started really digging into the details of the building, going through the specifics, all the way to the point to meet construction schedule. Last month, you approved GMP 1, going through that process. So we do have a little bit of the work that is already completed through that construction document phase and is starting to move into construction. But we're really working then on the bulk of the project, working into that technical process. So although we show one image here, we usually have about 300, 400, 500 sheets of drawings that, basically help explain how the building comes together. So we're really working through those details of the beam systems, fireproofing, mechanical systems, and make sure that we're coordinated as we're going into that construction process. So it gets very technical on that side, along with the specifications. As we have moved through the design process, it's not only us as the architectural or as the design team, we're as well working with the construction manager. So Core Construction, who in January co-hosted the event and really got a great outreach. It was very supportive as we went into that GMP1 process to get local contractors, get knowledge of the project, to be able to come out. That will really help moving forward. But Core Construction has been working with us through the estimation process, giving us constructability to input of what is that best opportunity, making sure it's buildable, but also in an efficient way, which results in savings, which is a great thing there. So just kind of stepping through the project schedule again, we've issued and board approval has occurred on GMP number 1. So we're continuing, you'll see the top 3 lines are really our bid packages. So you'll see us again here in April when we would bring the civil and landscape package, and then again in June, which would be the balance of the work. And that's really, we're issuing multiple packages due to the speed of the project, of working to get the doors open. You'll see there at the very bottom line of August of 2023, first day of school, not too far away. But really working into that. Next week, the contractor is mobilizing on that GMP1 work, so the demolition will occur. We're going to start seeing site construction in the April timeframe, and then building construction, so foundation, steel, those things will start in the June timeframe directly following the GMP approval. So we're really working through the process and really making things happen to get those doors open here in a little over a year. As I mentioned, we're working with Core Construction through the estimation process, and so overall, we have been really looking at the budget. So what you see here is the total project budget. So when we went and talked about the overall bond program, we talked about the Carver Middle School project being the $73.2 million in the total project cost. What Core Construction is really looking at is that top number at the $61.9 million, which would represent the GMP value. So as we're drawing things, they're working with subcontractors, getting pricing. We're having lots of discussion about those materials and systems, making sure that we're understanding what's happening in the marketplace now. So some things have changed over the last couple of years in terms of pricing, and so we're making the appropriate adjustments within the design project to make sure that we're providing that best opportunity for educational space, really making it the best thing for students and teachers. And that the exterior veneer of the building doesn't necessarily impact, so we want to make that right choice in terms of materials and systems from there. So you'll get to see that here as we move forward, which is a great part of the other half of that we've gotten into those materials and systems. There are some boards over here, but the experts behind me who are dealing with it day to day are going to talk about kind of where we're at from a progress.
Good evening, y'all. And as Jared mentioned, yes, with this very quick design and construction schedule, we have taken that into consideration as we talk about the exterior design of the concept. So I'm going to play this little video here, and you'll likely have seen something similar to it before. This is just an update of the proposed exterior design for the middle school. And so as we talk about constructability and exterior materials, this building is actually primarily constructed out of what's called tilt wall, which is a concrete panel. And you see it, sometimes you'll see it driving down the road as they're tilting them up. It's a very, very cost-efficient and fast way to construct a building. And so we're able to use materials like brick and concrete and create an exterior of a building that is very durable and low maintenance, and is also has a lot of flexibility in design, and so we're able to really create a unique look for the new GW Carver in a cost-efficient and very timely way. So looking here at some of the features of the exterior. It's been updated a little bit since the last time we saw it, but generally most of the features have stayed the same. So a nice big entry that faces the street, maintaining the signage, facing J.J. Fluellen Road, and then really maximizing the opportunity for natural light, bringing in lots of glazing on the exterior of the building, into the classrooms, into the common spaces, and then using the brick materials to accent and really tie in with the neighborhood there. And as we talk again about exterior materials, again, it's a tilt wall, so lots of concrete on the project, but we are able to dress that up with some different methods, as well as clad it in brick and metal panel. And so those numbers 1 and 2 are going to be your metal panel colors. We have some samples, as he mentioned, over here in the corner with the interior finishes as well. So feel free to take a look at those. But these are really great durable finishes that can bring a lot of visual interest and allow us to really work around some of those larger openings. And then we have our brick, looking at a couple brick colors to tie in with the neighborhood, and then of course the concrete there. So again, very simple, but really I think addressing the exterior and the relationship to the interior spaces in a really nice way. And so I'll turn it over to Jana to talk a little bit about the interior.
So for the interior palette, we also have the board over here. If we remember back early on, the conversations for GW Carver was, the early conversations where GW Carver was a home for the history, and we want it to feel like a home for the current students and the students of the future. So I hope that when you see the board, you feel those remnants of that. We have the textured wood coming through in the beams overhead. Thank you, Gloria. As well as the salvage elements that are on here. So this larger, dark piece of wood at the top is representing the salvaged bleacher wood that we will get here very shortly as they start deconstructing parts of that campus. So we think we'll be able to stain it and get it to that tone, and that's what's going to be on the new big learning stairs that are in that main commons area, like on the main landing. So elements of the past, literally helping design the space. The center horizontal piece of wood is also salvaged from the campus. And then what you're seeing on the right-hand side of the screen are those physical elements that the advisory committee has brought to us. And that's kind of where the magic has been happening recently. We were able to sit on a phone call with Waco Creative and Hope with the high school, and we were talking through, the advisory committee had broken down very succinctly the things that they physically had, the things that they wanted to see, and we kind of talked through some locations of let's walk in the front entry. We want to see GW Carver and some of his history there. We want to walk in through the front doors and see J.J. Fluellen and his history, and then the history of the campus happening all in that same front lobby. And then Hope had the wonderful idea of, let's let my AP art students design this. We know where it goes. We know it can be made of these elements. We know the pieces that can be brought in. Let's have it be made by the students, carrying that legacy forward into their own future, which I just think is beautiful. So that is under works. We do not yet have any imagery of that, but it will be coming soon.
Yeah, I was especially excited that we were able to meet with Creative Waco, and they brought some wonderful ideas about how to build these pieces of art materials, and I think it was even Fiona Bond that recommended that the students from Creative Waco, I think, come up with the actual designs. So Hope Garrity at Waco High School is leading that effort with Jana and involving her students in helping us with some renderings of J.J. Fluellen and G.W. Carver that will be located in the building. Once we get those renderings, then we'll figure out the materials, I think. And so that was really exciting. It was a really great partnership with them.
Yes, and thank you, Dr. Kincannon, for always bringing the community and the students. And
Very welcome. Yeah, very welcome.
really makes for an impactful space.
I know we have talked about the floors in the different buildings several times of wanting them to be easy to care for and also look good. Are these carpet samples, and then what is the other flooring?
So the carpet's only in your admin spaces and in the library. the majority of the floor throughout, a vast percentage is polished concrete. And so it's a no wax finish, very easy to maintain, looks lovely, will serve the district well. So all of the finishes, there's a synergy between the high school and the middle school from the facilities departments of the finishes that they want to maintain and that are easy to maintain. They just look a little different.
The parts of the building that weren't destroyed by the fire, are we able to salvage anything out of there that you're able to use? Or, I know you've got this one, is that from the gym, these beams you're talking
It
about?
is, it's from the original gym, so
Okay.
the bleachers are made out of this really lovely wood product that we think we'll be able to salvage most all of it. So we've got a couple of places tagged for it. It'll depend on once they actually start tearing it out, how it can be used. There's some tiles that are salvageable. I know that the district has salvaged some kind of odds and ends pieces that aren't necessarily, kind of loose pieces, not necessarily part of the building.
Yes, Ms.
question.
Cordova.
Well, yeah.
So, I know we had talked about the student tiles that they had made. Is that one thing that we are incorporating? And we're just wondering where that would be.
Yes, so right now, if you remember, you walk in the front door and straight ahead is the stage, and to the left is the gymnasium. On that side stage wall where the gymnasium faces, they're gonna be layered right there. So it's right in that community spot that'll be open for after-hours events, which is typically when people would probably want to see them. So out in the front, good home.
Yeah, it's nice. All right. Next steps.
Yep. So so far as next steps, so we're, I don't think I actually said it, we're on budget, we're on time along the way. We've got the exterior coming together as well as the interior finishes that really represent the design development efforts. So with your approval tonight, we would continue into the progress of contract documents. You'll see demolition and groundbreaking, as I mentioned, and then the next big steps will be going for GMP2 and GMP3, so that will lock in the prices for those phases, and those would come in April and June. So lots happening here on Carver Middle School. So, any questions? I know you were able to ask some, but any questions you have otherwise?
I think my question, thank you guys for all your work. It's a very fast-moving project, so I appreciate your hard work. Are we going to include our focus group, like our Carver alumni? Are they going to continue to be a part of their art process? I know they're really concerned, but I just wanted to confirm they will continue to be a part.
Absolutely. They've been a huge part so far. It's been very touching to hear their stories.
I appreciate every member of that committee. I really do.
Ms. Cordova.
President, I know you guys are talking about kind of the fluctuation in building cost. Are you seeing it kind of continue to trend upward? Is that going to affect our budget? What is that? What are your?
So right now, overall, on the middle school, it's trended pretty similar from time to time. So Core has done a great job of really talking to the subs, making sure they're holding the prices. We have included within the estimate an escalation, and so as we've progressed in design, that has come down. We did include some escalation in GMP1, just knowing bid time. So we're planning for it, and that's money that we hopefully don't have to spend, but we are ready for it if it does occur.
It's budgeted, it's there, just in case. Yes, thank you so much.
All right, so we do need to take action tonight to approve the design development. So I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the design development of GW Carver Middle School as presented for the noted modification and authorize O'Connell Robertson to proceed with the construction document phase.
Thank you, Ms. Cordova. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. All right, any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Hearing none, passes unanimously. Thank you. Thank you all for your work. Yeah. Yeah. Groundbreaking will be soon. Exciting. Okay, review and discuss career and technical education update. Ms. McCutcheon. saw those too, but.
Good evening. We are, I guess, waiting for our first slide. Oh, I guess I should know that. This is February, and February is CTE month. A CTE month is a national celebration of Korean technology, and we're here tonight to celebrate with you why we love CTE so much, what it means to our students, and what it means to our Waco community. So I've got the whole team here, so you're going to hear from all of us as we go through this tonight. This is our mission and our vision for Korean technology in Waco ISD, and that is that we will provide comprehensive course offerings and experiences to empower students to successfully reach their academic and career goals, ensuring a sustainable future. Our vision is to provide a comprehensive program that will give the students the opportunity to excel and advance their skills and knowledge, to be prepared for post-secondary endeavors through rigorous curriculum, relevant experiences, and lasting relationships. This is a list of all the different academies and programs of study that we offer at Waco ISD. You can see that we have 3 branches of our Arts and AV and Communications program, including the video focus, commercial photography, and graphic design, as well as at Waco High, we also have animation. Both of our campuses have automotive technology, including dual credit. We have the Academy of Education and Training, Law and Criminal Justice, the Ron E. Smith Business and Finance at University, the Academy of Culinary Arts at University, the Academy of Engineering, Project Lead the Way at University, the Academy of Business and Marketing at Waco High. Then we have GUAMA, and GUAMA provides our students with welding, robotics, and electronics, as well as construction technology. WACA, it also provides our students with the Certified Nurses certification, the Community Health Worker, and Pharmacy Tech. These are what we're currently offering. Now, coming soon, next fall, we never can quite get satisfied, so we have to keep moving forward. We will be offering at Guam a new academy, and that academy is called the Academy of Computerized Manufacturing. Dale's going to be talking to you a little bit about what that is, but we received a $90,000 grant from the Caterpillar Corporation that allowed us to expand. We already had the equipment, but we are getting it refurbished and ready to go. We will be offering the Future Educators Academy. Currently, we have 50 students. I'm not going to get excited about it. I'm going to let Chris do that in just a second, but I'm very excited about what we're offering there. And then finally, the Future Heroes Academy, and pretty excited about that one too, so it's all I can do, yeah, I know. Right. Oh, Guaca? I said Guaca, didn't I? I did. I said CNN. No, I'm sorry if I didn't say that. Oh, Guaca's on your thing with your, I'm sorry. We have a new certification at Guaca, and I didn't want to steal her thunder there. I'm sorry. Okay, the next one is our enrollment. We currently have at Waco High School 1,699 students enrolled in at least one Korean technology class. That's 88% of that campus. University is at 1,550, or 80% of that campus. We at Guama have 254 students, and Guaca has 268. Waco ISD has 100-plus CTE teachers. They were all going to come tonight, but I think that the ice and cold has kept them away. Down at the middle school, we are currently offered a course called Project-Based Research. Within Project-Based Research, the students are learning about different careers that they have for their future. They learn about what we offer in Korean technology, what the district offers in fine arts, what they offer in athletics. And then we help the students, along with our counseling staff, to provide four-year planning for students. We've worked really hard on that this year. The counseling staff has been amazing. We have conducted our family outreaches at each of our middle schools, and they have been overwhelmingly attended by parents and students. I have some of my ambassadors here, and they actually told me they were missing the middle school meetings. So that says they were a lot of fun for all of us to attend. Another one of our bragging points is that we are actually ahead of the state in the number of students who complete their program of study. What a program of study is, it's a sequence of 4 courses that ends in a capstone. We currently sit at 77%, which is well ahead of the state at 58.5%. This year at graduation, you will see students wearing medallions that have CTE on them. We will actually be recognizing those students who complete that 4-year pathway. That is telling the world that they are ready to go to work or ready to go to college, whatever the next step is for them. And so you'll be seeing them wearing CTE medals. This is something that we as a staff felt like it was going to be a very important piece because we want students to be ready to go. We want them to go through those top classes that really get them prepared. We gave away more letter jackets, or I even gave them away. Students earned more CT letter jackets this year than ever before, and part of that is being a part of that program for 4 years. These are all, and I know these are hard to see, but we offer over 20 certifications in Waco ISD. These are workforce certifications. We offer at least one workforce certification at the end of each academy. Even during the pandemic, Waco ISD, due to the efforts of the folks you see behind me as well as the teachers, we actually went up in the number of certifications that our students earned. We are higher than the state average on the workforce certifications. It is becoming a part of our culture, and the folks, our administrative staff behind me has really played a huge piece in that. Knowing that those certifications are out there, we have to promote those to students and parents so they understand their importance. And these guys really have done that, and I'm really proud of the work they've done. We had them coming up on Saturday, getting their certifications done, working with them. Our students understand the importance of those certifications. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start with Mr. Stewart, and he's going to come up and tell you some of the exciting things going on at University High School. Mr. Stewart.
Good evening, good evening. So I'm James Stewart, I'm over at University High School as the Dean of Career and Technology. I'm gonna slow down for y'all. First I wanna say we have some wonderful staff and students in Waco ISD, and so just to give them their recognition, because there are so many people that are doing things behind the scenes and that they're taking care of a lot of business. So just to point out a couple of things for this year, our Taffy group is taking 31 students to state next week to compete for nationals. And so a huge number from University High School to Ms. Beyer and her staff taking 31 students to go compete at the state competition in Dallas, Texas. Our VITA program, our tax program, has been working vigilantly as far as for 10 years now. So for over 10 years, preparing those taxes. We do it every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Unfortunately, we had to close tonight but because of the weather. But we do it every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Tuesday and Thursday is at our home campus, and then Wednesday we go out. Next week we're going to Teague. So we travel on Wednesdays to provide that service. Our culinary students, which you will receive a little bit of a gift today, they were invited to go to the Dallas Fair to perform in the Celebrity Cook-Off. They also were invited to the Junior League Foundation Dinner. And a lot of people don't know this, but we do a meal for the Salvation Army every Tuesday. So it's like if you've ever seen Food Network like Chopped, we get food from the pantry from Salvation Army, and then they prepare a meal for the homeless shelter every Tuesday. So that's something that we want to make sure we recognize Chef Osborne and Chef Rourke and Dunham that they're doing every week. And then our AV classes. So Dr. Kincannon had the opportunity to film this week. They're doing a project called Getting to Know the You, where they're recording different staff and editing. The audio-video class is editing that video. But Dr. Kincannon had the opportunity to come, was it last week or this week? Last week, to do her bit. And so once we get it edited, I know Mr. Sanchez will send that to you. So he's taking that upon himself to do that project and make sure that everybody's kind of have that family feel. So those are a couple of things that are taking place at University High School.
Thank you, James. I'm going to sit in for Sarah Bartlett, who is the dean at Waco High. She found the ice a little slippery this afternoon or this morning, and so I send our thoughts and prayers to her. I'm sure she's home watching with her ankle up with ice on it. So, Sarah, I hope I do justice of what you've given me here. So there's a couple of wonderful things that are happening at Waco High. First of all, we had 40 students that are freshmen that are taking Principles of Health Science, and they have earned their CPR certification, which we think is wonderful. As they get ready to travel over to Waco, they'll be ready for the things that they will see there. Also, we're in process of remodeling. We relocated the school store. We're doing some remodeling and rebranding of that store. They're also developing an online purchasing option for folks that want to buy the swag from Waco High. And that particular, it's all student-run, part of our marketing program, and all the funds from that store go to support Skills USA. We are on target for our largest group of automotive students. We have over 70 students that are slated to get their ASD certifications this year, so really excited about that. Our Audio Video Academy has established a new program called the Weekly Roar. And in the Weekly Roar, that's really kind of hard to say. I'm glad I don't have to say that. The Weekly Roar, then it touts and tells wonderful things that are happening at Waco High School, and that is broadcast throughout the campus. We have a new course. It's a community service course. It's one of our CTE electives, and those students worked together and took 75 pair of warm socks to nursing homes this past before Christmas. And then finally, our students in the Criminal Justice Academy start their ride-alongs with the Waco Police Department this week, and so we're real excited that they get to have that experience. And now I'm going to bring up Dr. Dale McCall to talk to you about Guama.
Good evening. I'm Dale McCall. I am the dean at Guama. Donna said we had 2 minutes. James took one of mine, so I'll be brief. We have a very strong advisory board meeting and group at Guama, and as Donna mentioned, we're beginning to have, we're starting with TSTC, a new academy through dual credit with TSTC of the manufacturing, computerized manufacturing. We've been working on this for about a year now. We have about another year or two before we get to dual credit. But it's exciting because we're going to be able to utilize a lot of what we have been using in my shop, and that's my machining. We're going to be using the CNC mill and the CNC lathe, get the students industry-based certifications so that they will have the opportunities to have jobs in this area that will pay beginning at $40,000 to $45,000 a year coming out of high school. So it really gives our students an opportunity. We do have 8 students going to Skills USA. I think it was put off this week into state, and we are continuing to work with our advisory board. And I do want to say we have such a great partnership with TSTC. They have upped their scholarships that they provide for TSTC for Guama students from $5,000 this year to $10,000. So I can say kudos to them, along with the hard work that we do ourselves, my staff, and the leadership of Donna. And thank you for Cheryl Davis for keeping the money flowing. Thank you.
So, it's very rare that I get to say, Dale, you forgot to say something, but we do start building our first tiny home this spring, the Academy of Construction Science. I am so excited about that. Can't hardly stand it. Students will see that from the architectural drawing up until the final. We're keeping this first tiny home as our prototype, and then as we go forward, we'll be building and selling those for scholarships and things. And so I'm really, really excited about that. I think it's going to be very exciting. And we also have a new manufacturing simulation cell that's coming in. And it's all ready, we're just putting the finishing touches on it. And what a simulation cell is it mimics the manufacturing floor. You want to come? I'll let Dale explain.
The sim cell has always been Donna's dream, and, it is becoming mine now because well, and because I'm getting to see what it is. I mean, it was in my shop for a year and a half, just in pieces and in boxes and in crates. But it is actually it simulates an automative manufacturing process. So students will not only see the robotic phase of what we see in our industry locally, in M&Rs and other local industries, doing processes such as bringing along a part and doing a CNC mill, a CNC lathe, a welding application, and putting parts together. There's actually an inspection part where they look under the magnified and see if the part is what it's supposed to look like. So we will have it up and going soon in the fall of 2022.
It really is. It's exciting, and it was something that was donated to our district, and so we're really, when it comes that way, it makes it even nicer. So now I'd like to introduce to Candace Beckham from Waco.
Hi, thank you for having us tonight. It's really hard to follow all of these amazing programs that you've already heard about, but we are excited over at Waco that we have about 154 students that are slated to complete the CNA program next Friday. So we are super excited about that, especially kind of post-pandemic-ish year. So we're super excited to have that many students who have been able to come and get all of those hours completed. It's taken a lot of work between quarantines and all of the things in between, inclement weather, to try to get these state hours that are required. So our teachers have been phenomenal in coming every Saturday to offer time in the clinical setting so our students can meet that deadline of next Friday. So we're super excited about that. We are also a state-approved testing facility at Waco, so we will begin testing March 28th, and we will test 4 days a week until May 11th. So we are limited on the number of students that can test per day, so we get to test the entire spring. So it's super exciting. And then all of those students will be eligible to enter our new program that's opening next fall, which is the Certified Clinical Medical Assistant program. So we're really excited to be opening that. Our advisory board was critical in determining that that was a need for our area, so we're really excited about what that's going to look like for us in the fall, and we're super proud of our kiddos. So thank you.
This is wonderful stuff. I get so excited, I can't understand it. Okay, the next one we're going to talk about is Dr. Christine Holacek, and is going to talk to you about one of our new academies starting next fall, the Future Educators Academy.
And I was honored to present to y'all earlier in the school year, so I'm not going to go into great detail, but I want to make sure that you all have on your calendar for our celebration that Saturday morning at 10 a.m. over at South Waco Elementary. We just posted our P-TECH Future Educator sign right underneath South Waco sign, so we're already starting to co-brand, and we're very excited that our partners will be there. Dr. Kincannon is going to speak, as well as folks from MCC, Texas Tech, and Tarleton. So they're all going to celebrate the students. We have 50 students that have signed up for the program. I hope all 50 are there, but we're going to honor all that show. And then I'll make sure that students who don't make it to the event will get their certifications. But we're very excited for the program, and I hope you'll be there to come and enjoy it and to celebrate the kids. Thank you.
Saturday morning, and the chefs are great. What Chris said, I said, well, what are the chefs making for the celebration? She said it's going to be bougie breakfast. So we look forward to what the chefs at university and their students will be preparing for us. The next person I'd like to ask to come forward is David Hamilton, and David and I have been working furiously on this next project. So David, I'm going to let you talk about it.
You know what I like coming after Donna? I don't have to move the microphone like I used to. Usually have to with people. I hear you laughing, James. Before I begin with that, I would like to thank all of the team. They just do outstanding work to make sure that we have great programs for our kids. I love the fact that our programs are geared towards our students and not just geared towards anything. It's really a passion for what the kids have. So I wanted to start with that. Future Heroes Academy. We are very excited about offering our own program that can lead to a student becoming a firefighter, hopefully in this area. That's what we want. Students will be able to begin the firefighter program next year. So this is the Future Heroes Academy. Curriculum for our firefighter program is going to be built in conjunction with MCC to ensure students are effectively prepared. That's a big piece for us. We want students that when they get out and they go through everything, they're able to actually become a firefighter. Upon completion of the program, students will have earned their EMT certification, prepared for the civil service exam, and prepared for the physical activity exam. After completing 1 semester of fire protection technology at MCC, following their senior year, they will be ready to be hired as a certified firefighter. So we are very excited that we're able to put this together. We'll be able to get kids in the program, and we'll be able to have kids that come from our community to be able to do that. We are very excited about being able to target our underserved populations for this program. So thank you for your time. I talk really quick. I'm sorry, I'm a Yankee.
I thank Trustee Guillory for bringing that forward and getting us excited about that program. That gets them prepared to go into the Firefighter Academy. Is that right, Mr. Guillory?
It does. The first step in that, the most exciting part of that program, it sounds like, is the emergency medical technician piece. As soon as they get that certification, they can instantly go into that field, get a job, and start making money. And it prepares them to go forward into Firefighter 1 and Firefighter 2 and get certified in that area to be ready to be a firefighter. That's an amazing program.
And we're really excited, too, that while they're in high school, they'll be taking high school level firefighter classes. Within the CTE realm of being able to hire teachers, we'll be able to hire either retired firefighters or perhaps a couple that would come in, I hate to say days off, but y'all work more days and have days off, that could come in and share that responsibility of training those training those students. And so they'll hear, straight from the source of what it means to be a firefighter. And we really feel like that's going to build up what they need to be successful in that program. So
I want to mention that MCC and the relationship, I forgot Gary's last name, Keith.
It's Gary Miles.
Gary Miles was so helpful to us in putting that program together. And thank you, David, for working with Gary, and then Londa Caravu over at MCC. But MCC is a tremendous resource to this community and this school district. And I'm just so impressed with the programs that they have, but not only just what they have, but the flexibility to kind of pivot and help us get what we want for our kids. And they're just so easy to work for. And I'll tell you, that doesn't happen everywhere. So kudos to Dr. McCowan and her team at MCC. Yeah.
Yes, it's been wonderful.
Oh, absolutely. And I want to thank you for the work you put in on this. And I saw the excitement in your face the whole time you were putting it together.
We've been trying to do a firefighter academy. I started researching it about 15 years ago, and things just didn't fall into place until about 6 weeks ago, when we started with a new approach. So, it's one of those things that's been on that list that we just couldn't get quite there. And once again, with the folks at MCC, we could not have put the program together without their willingness to step back and look at something in a different way than what is traditionally expected. And so we're really happy about that. So I have the best part of the evening for the last slide. Each year, each of our academies elect 2 ambassadors. We have a junior ambassador and a senior ambassador. And what these students do is they help us host events. These students have gone with us to all the middle schools. They've talked to parents. They've talked to students. And they have to be well-versed, and they've been trained to not only talk about the academy that they represent, but other academies as well. So they've gone to us. They served, I know at university, we had Pete Sessions had an evening. They helped that night. They're here to host many different events and have And this month, during CTE month, we've focused each of these students every day on our Facebook page. If you've not seen them, I would encourage you to go look at them. These students have the words, I couldn't write a better script about CTE than what these students have said about CTE. Tonight we have Kevin Redmond from Waco High School. And Kevin, you want to tell what academy you represent?
I represent JRTC at Waco High.
JRTC is under the CTE umbrella. There is, just on the political side real quick, there is a state movement to move that officially so that they would actually receive some CT funding, so that would be exciting. We have Sarah Shaw. Sarah, you want to come tell your academy?
I'm with the Education and Training Academy.
And this is, Kaylin, I'm going to rip your name up, last name. Okay, this is Kayla Sturdivant, and you want to come fix your name for me?
It's okay. A lot of people get it wrong. I represent the Academy of Education and Training at university.
She's one of the taffy.
I'm heading to state next week.
So we are so proud of our students, of our ambassadors. These guys have really worked hard for us this year. The work that we did at the middle school would not have been possible. Students like to hear other students, and so we're really proud of the work they have done for us this year, and I'm proud of I just go back and sometimes just flip back through what the students have said. It's been wonderful to see that. So that is our celebration for the night. I'd love to entertain any questions that you have, or for me, look behind me. I got this great group of people. And I hate that Sarah's not here because she would be included, but, we get together and we laugh and we brainstorm and we come up with what seems to be impossible, and then there's always a way to make it work. And so our teachers, our CT teachers, are some of the most amazing teachers, I believe. They inspire kids, they keep kids in school, they give them a vision of what the future could look like. So thank you for letting us celebrate. Do you have questions, anyone?
Thank you. Well, I'm just wondering what extra credit these 3 young people get for staying to the very end of the meeting.
I believe that we'll have something for them. I will tell you, they've all been to the middle school. So tonight I said, Kevin, are you glad that we're done with those middle school presentations? Because that's like 3 hours on your feet. And he goes, I kind of miss them. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm glad you're coming back next year. So one of the things they can do to earn either a letter jacket or a patch is to be one of our ambassadors. So these guys are well on their way to doing that. So,
well, the board will have to remember you guys next time we need ambassadors for an event that we are hosting. And I have to say, your headshot is all world. It is a really nice headshot. When I saw that picture, I thought, really? Very nice.
I know.
Yeah.
They're great. And, they're just so charming. And, it's
obviously
so
all
wonderful
3
to
going
see 'em.
places. And you make us very proud. Thank you for sticking it out with us, and thank you for the work you're doing. And thank you guys for making our program exceptional.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I think I heard there were 2 teachers in that group coming back to teach.
Yeah, I hope so.
Right?
Well, I'm hoping you're back so we can celebrate your win at state.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Ms. Cordaway.
So sorry.
I'm sorry.
I just wanted to say thank you, guys. I know that this is, every time I hear the CT report, I really am so encouraged. And, I think of the students, and specifically, when I was pregnant with my daughter and had an emergency C-section, one of the nurses who walked in was in my kindergarten, my first class that I ever taught. She was a kindergartner, and who came to take care of me. So you guys are the future of our community, and we don't take that lightly, and we don't, what you carry is hope for us and for our future. You one day will probably teach my daughter, and so I want you guys to understand that we are so thankful, and for administrators and everyone, it really is so thankful, because you really are training up our future workforce here in our community, and it means a lot. It means a lot to me that my kindergarten student took care of me, and it was special. So thank you.
Yep, Mr.
I just want to say real quick, I had in my mind a tally of things I was going to say, but you all are great. It was too many things to mention it all again. So, but I love everything that's going on. To the students, I want to say thank you guys for being leaders. Keep doing that, right? Keep being bold, keep learning, keep evolving, but I definitely appreciate you guys for stepping up in their role as leaders.
Thank you. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. DeBeer, announcements.
Thank you, Madam President. I want to take this opportunity to remind everyone that tomorrow is the last day of early voting for the March 1 joint primary election. And on Tuesday, polling places are open across the county. Registered voters in McLennan County can vote at any Election Day vote center, including the 4 that we host on some of our campuses at Cesar Chavez Middle School, Tennyson Middle School, University High, and Waco High. This weekend, we really have some great events happening. You already heard about the Future Educators Academy celebration happening at 10 a.m. on Saturday. But just down the road at University High School, the JROTC is hosting their annual Trojan Tykes Boot Fun Camp from 9 a.m. to noon. And so if you have the opportunity, I definitely encourage you to drop by and see some cute kids having a lot of fun with our high school students, either before or after the event at South Waco. Next week, as you know, we have our ribbon cutting Friday morning for the new Paul Tyson Stadium, and that carries us into spring break the following week from March 7th through the 11th. So we have a busy sprint to spring break, and by then I think everyone will be ready to catch their breath for a moment. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We are adjourned. Good night.